One of the very best things about the Cliburn International Junior Piano Competition and Festival is that people we bring to town are first rate. The artists, the teachers, all of them are first rate, and sometimes they're even people that I've wanted to meet since I was a child, and this is the case with Gilbert Kalish, who is sitting with us for a few minutes. Mr. Kalish, welcome to Dallas and to the Webcast.
That's very kind of you.
Not your first visit to Dallas this year.
That's
though.
true.
You were here with Tony Arnold.
Right.
That seems to have been in the winter. I remember it was cold outside.
That was the Nasher Museum, and it was in January, yes.
And you played some Crumb, some Kurt Weill songs,
Correct.
I think? And then a new piece, and I can't remember what that was.
Well, it was very interesting. A piece by a young man named Eric Nathan that dealt with the correspondence between Emily Dickinson and Henry Higginson, who was an abolitionist, and it was just a fascinating kind of text in which they were intimate friends but never met. And she was a very withdrawn person, and they finally met toward the end of this cycle, and it's a very beautiful kind of text and very interesting piece. So, young composer, really excellent composer, Eric Nathan. He teaches at Brown.
You know, you've had such a fantastic career, and you've done a little of everything, and it seems that you continue to do everything.
I try to keep my brain a little, going.
How did it all unfold when you were a kid? Did you think, I want to do a little of this and a little of that, and I want to play some new music, and I want to teach some, and or did it just sort of unfold for you?
These are very complicated and interesting things that happen in life. My mother thought that I was a talented young person. She was an immigrant from Russia. It was very important to her that I pursue that. I never really practiced that much and did not devote myself 6-8 hours a day to the piano. I went to normal schools. I went to Columbia College, and I more or less said, no, I'm not going to do this. And then I came back to it on my own. And actually what I felt was that I was not an adequate pianist, that I didn't have the technical skills to enter the profession. And so this is you had spoken with me about Madame Vengerova.
Absolutely, the fabled Madame Vengerova.
Right.
I think about her a lot because we've had so many of Gary Grafman's students in the competition, 4 of them, I think, and they all play with such beautiful quality of tone. And that seems to, or from what I've read anyway, that seems to have been one of her things.
Well,
the sound that one gets from the piano.
I went to her knowing that she was reputed to be a very demanding and difficult person, that people often were in tears at her lessons, and I decided I don't care. I want to be helped. She's supposed to be a kind of guru of the piano. I need to be helped to learn how to play the piano better, to really have a life in music. And so I went to her. I behaved, I decided, one of these kinds of things you decide I would do everything that she told me, that I wouldn't mind however harsh she was, and that the point was that I needed her. And so I did that. And all the while in my little brain, the other part of my brain was skeptical, thinking, all right, I'll do whatever she says. But as time went on, I was saying to myself, I don't feel myself improving. I don't feel any difference. I don't understand what she's doing that's helping me. Well, so as the year passed, she was a very elderly lady. It was toward the end of her life. And she was very nice to me. She even paid for me to go to her assistant in between her lessons. She was very kind. And so at the last lesson of the year, she said to me, well, you've had a wonderful year. I think you've improved tremendously, and you've done everything that I've asked of you. But I have to say, you are the most frustrating student I've ever had in my life. And so.
What did that mean? What did she?
Well, so I said, well, that makes me feel terrible. What was it? What is it that makes you frustrated? She said, well, I am used to having students who react very viscerally to what I say. Either there's great joy and excitement about what I tell them and how that affects their playing, or else there are tears when they can't get it and when they feel like they're struggling and it's not working. But I feel nothing from you.
You were too stable.
Well, I felt very badly because she had sort of penetrated what I had decided to do, which was, okay, I'm going to pay attention. And I felt badly because I hate to treat anybody like that. I mean, she was very nice to me. Anyway, that was a kind of fascinating thing. And then she proceeded to tell me about her life in Russia. She showed me photos of her studies and when she was a young woman. I mean, and it was very sweet and touching. Okay, that was the last lesson I had with her. And I left feeling, there is no magic bullet that makes you a better player. And I'll simply have to do with what I am. And, okay, so then I did go to summer places. I was lucky enough to go to Marlborough. And I went to Marlborough, in a sense, to find out whether Mr. Sirkin thought that I had any chance to enter the profession, because I know he was a very demanding and hard man, that music was like a religion to him, and that if you didn't meet the standards, he would tell you that. And so at the end of the summer, I hesitantly came up to him because he had coached me a number of times. This was in 1957. So I've lived a while. So I hesitantly approached him and I asked him this question: do you think I have a chance to be a pianist, to be a musician? And he said, well, you could try.
It worked out
and
pretty
that was
well.
one of the most encouraging things I ever heard in my life.